What is governance? Governance is the process of enforcing the decision or taking the decision through various rules and regulation and policies. Whatever decisions that has to be taken, committees will be formed. So that committees has to take up the proper decision. By taking the responsible decision, they'll be accountable to the society, they'll be accountable to the employees as well as the stakeholders. Hello everybody, I'm Divya, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce and Management, lecturing Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. I take this opportunity to welcome you all for today's class, that is your Unit 5, Session 1, the chapter called Ethical and Governance Issues. So this is the last unit that is put to your syllabus. So let us discuss today's topic. The topic for today's discussion, Introduction to Ethical and Governance Issues, Ethical Principles, and we'll also be discussing about ethical issues in financial management, which is very important in your syllabus. And the next topic is agency relationship theory. So all these are the topics that we are discussing in today's class. So in the last class, we have discussed about the mergers and the acquisitions. So how the mergers and what are the different types. In today's class, we'll be discussing what this ethics is all about, why ethics is very important in your daily life. So in any of the situation, ethics is very important. Moving forward, so before getting directly into the syllabus, so let us understand what is ethics is all about. Ethics means code of conduct. It is a norm that explains the right and the wrong behavior of a human being. It is nothing but good or bad behavior. Ethics means what? It is a code of conduct which explains the behavior of a human being, which is good or a bad behavior. So ethics is very important. So ethics are the daily principle, the basic principles that everybody own, so that in our society we show certain moral behavior, moral activities that we do for our society. So suppose if you go to a shop and you give $100 to a shopkeeper, you purchase the commodity. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper returns you $500. So what do you do with that $500? You have given only $100, but you at the same time you have also purchased the commodity. So what you do? You feel bad about the shopkeeper and return that $500 and take up the money, whatever the remaining after purchasing the commodity. What is this act called as? This act is nothing but an ethical act. So you people feel that it is a bad behavior to take away somebody's money. So you usually do this. So everybody have come across such kind of situation in our daily life. So it is very important to have. So where this ethics starts? So ethics starts from the day when we step out of your house. It starts everywhere. So you want ethical behavior, moral behavior that has to be shown in each and every places. But where in finance it is very important, because wherever money is there, there will be lot of manipulation, lot of fraudulent activities will happen. So while taking up the decision regarding anything in a firm, regarding your capital budgeting, regarding capital structure, or with respect to issuing of dividend, with all such cases, ethics is very important. The manager, the firm has to maintain an ethical code of conduct. They have to behave morally with the employees, with the stakeholders in the firm, because it is very important to maintain an ethical code of conduct. So if you have an ethical code of conduct, a good behavior towards the organization, the firm's goodwill will increase. At the same time, you will get more stakeholders, the suppliers will have the credit worthiness in your society, with the stakeholders, with the bank, everywhere and elsewhere. So it is very important to know about the ethics. So why ethics is important? Because it explains what is the good, what is bad activities that will happen in an organization. So what are the basic principles they have to follow? So another important terminology that you have to learn in this chapter is governance. So what is governance? Governance is the process of enforcing the decision or taking the decision through various rules and regulation and policies. I repeat, what is governance? Governance is nothing but the process of enforcing the decision or taking up the decision by various rules, regulations and principles. So in this chapter, it is very important to know about what is ethics, what is governance is all about, because the chapter name itself says it is all about ethics and your governance issue. So if you study this unit, you will be able to understand about the ethical issues that is there in the financial management and what are the basic principles that the financial manager or the firm has to follow in order to run a sound business in a long perpetual life. So to keep all these things in mind, we will start our class with the introduction. Moving forward, the introduction part with respect to ethical issues in governance and the issues that is there with respect to ethics and the governance issues. So the field of ethical and governance issues plays a crucial role. So what it plays? It plays a crucial role in various aspects of the society, including business, politics, technology and many more. So ethics, as I have told you, it starts where? It starts as when we step out the door, as when we start up our daily lives, because it is very important to have a good behavior, good code of conduct in our daily life. So as we are doing good to the society does good back to us. So whatever we take from the society is our responsibility to give back to the society as well. So that is why it is mandatory to follow the corporate social responsibility for every firm. So understanding fundamental principle in this chapter, you will be able to understand how the decision can be taken, how the responsible decision can be taken, so that it ensures behavior, that ethics can be maintained in the behavior of the firm. Moving forward, ethics refers to, so what is ethics? As I have told you, it is the study of moral values, principles and the standards that guide you people in the human behavior. So you behave, what kind of behavior should be with respect to your decision. So while taking up the capital, what is the decision you have taken? So with that respect, it should not affect anybody's emotion, or it should not affect any firm's losses. It should not affect the firm in any of the other ways. So it involves evaluating actions, the wrongness, good or bad, based on the established ethical framework. So how they can set up an ethical framework? By maintaining a proper governance in an organization. So what is this governance? It is nothing but the rules, policies, the framework, the guidelines that they set for their employees. So how they can maintain or achieve the ethical values in an organization? By setting the good values through the policy, rules, regulation and guidance. So when the organization make it compulsory to follow all these rules and regulation, automatically ethics will be there in their actions. Moving forward, we have the terminology governance. As I have told you, governance is nothing but it's a system of rules, regulations that they maintain in an organization in order to take up the effective decision with respect to organizational affairs, so that they have accountability, transparency and they can take up the responsible decision. So by taking the responsible decision, they'll be accountable to the society, they'll be accountable to the employees as well as the stakeholders. So this is all about the ethics and the governance and the introduction part. So why it is important in your organization to maintain an ethical code of conduct, because it is very important for the organization to maintain an ethical code of conduct, because the society what we are taking, it is our responsibility to give it back. So that's why you need to maintain the ethics and the proper governance in the system. Moving forward, the fundamental principle. So if your organization wanted to have a good ethical behavior, all the fundamental principles that is put in front of you should be followed by the firm in order to know what is the thing that will happen in the organization. Well, what are the fundamental principles we have? We have 4 fundamental principles that has to be followed by a firm. So what is the first fundamental principle? It is accountability. Accountability means answering. You should be answerable. So when the authority is given, you'll automatically get the responsibility. When you get the responsibility, automatically you will be answerable to the higher person. So what is this accountability? The firm should be answerable. So holding individual and organizational responsible for their actions and decision. So it is the responsibility of an organization to be answerable for the code of conduct they behave. So they have to properly design the structure in such a way that the organization should go in an ethical manner. So whatever the things happen, the firm will be responsible. They should be answerable to the society as well as the stakeholders. Moving forward, the second principle that the firm has to follow, that is transparency. Transparency in disclosing their information, transparency with respect to showcasing their reports or the clear and accessible information to the shareholders. So whatever the reports they have, all the reports should be clearly shown to the people. So clearly there should be transparency in disclosing the financial reports. Moving forward, the third principle is integrity. Integrity is nothing but the honesty. So it is very important for a firm to be honest for their shareholders and for the employees as well as the entire society. So integrity upholds ethical and moral values in all the actions and decisions. So when they are honest, they'll have a proper ethical and moral values in all their actions. Next, the fourth principle that they have to follow is compliance. Compliance is nothing but adhering to the rules, regulations and law. When it comes to law, we have various financial laws, that is your banking law, your insurance law, and all these laws has to be properly followed by an organization with respect to their disclosing of financial reports, with respect to dealing with the shareholders. So all that things has to be taken care. So the first principle is what? Accountability. Accountability means answerability. The firm should have the thing to answer the shareholders as well as the stakeholders as well as the employees, the entire society. They should be answerable. So that is your accountability. First principle as a firm they have to follow. The second principle, it is transparency. They should have a transparent towards dealing or the disclosure of their financial statements. The third principle is integrity. Integrity is nothing but the honesty with respect to everybody in an organization. They should have a honesty. So if they have honesty, if the top level executive have the honesty, they have the integrity mindset, then their followers, that is their subordinates as well as middlemen, everybody will have the same integrity towards the organizational goal. So it is very important to follow the third principle, that is integrity. The fourth principle is compliance. So compliance is nothing but adhering to rules and regulations. So we have various laws that has been given. We have financial law, we have banking law, and it has to go like we have SEBI. Then we have various rules and regulations, Security Act. We have various rules and regulations, security law. All this law has to be properly followed by an organization while running the business successfully. Moving forward, here are key notes on ethical issues in financial management. So, what are the ethics issues we can see in our financial management? So this is very important questions for your exam as well. So what is the ethical issues we can see in our financial management? So where money is there, obviously there will be issue of transparency. So there will be lot of fraudulent activities that will happen in the organization. So with respect to that, there are various ethical issues that we can see in our financial management as well. So let us look into one by one. The first is transparency in disclosure. So as I have told you, financial reporting, so based on that financial information, many people will rely to take up the decisions regarding their investment, regarding the supplies, regarding their purchase of goods and services. So many decisions will rely on the financial report. So that disclosure of financial information should be transparent. So transparency in the sense, so without hiding anything or window dressing the financial statement or the balance sheet, they should showcase as it is, how the company is performing, the same way that has to be presented in front of the public for the better decision making. So transparency and the disclosure is the another first important ethical issues that we see in our financial management. The second is conflict of interest. So there will be a conflict of interest. So identifying and managing conflict of interest is crucial. Conflict arises when the financial manager prioritize their personal gain over the best interest of the organization or its stakeholders. So when the financial managers or the managers of the company, if they work for their betterment, so then the conflict arises between the management itself as well as with the general public or as well as with the shareholders. So they should not work for their personal interest, rather they should work for the betterment of the organization. So managing conflict is another important ethical issues that we are facing in today's generation. Moving forward, fiduciary duty. Fiduciary duty is nothing but legal duty. So financial manager have a fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of their organization and clients. So what activities they include? So they include managing funds responsibly and making decisions that maximize the benefit of the shareholders. So a third person will be there. So we'll be discussing that concept in agency theory. So on behalf of principal, the agent will be there. So agent will take up the decision to invest in various portfolios and make the benefit for the principal. So that is agency relationship that we'll discuss in the further slide. So in such a cases, third person is there. On the third person, we are relying for decision making. So the third person should not, or the agent should not work for his benefit, for his personal interest, rather he should work for the principal interest. So that is very important. So fiduciary duty, sometimes on behalf of clients, the manager has to act. So the manager has to maintain lot of funds in the organization. So it is the duty of a manager to look into the organizational funds very carefully. So that is the another ethical issues we can see. Moving forward, insider trading. So insider trading has become trend now. So the people with the false information or the misleading information or the information they get from the insiders company itself, they start trading and they avail the money. So that insider trading is a unethical activity that has been followed in a recent generation. So what is this insider trading? Insider trading involves buying or selling securities based on non-public material information about the company. So a person will get the information about the company, so they trade, buy and sell the securities in order to avail the profit. So that is very unethical and illegal. So financial manager must avoid sharing or useful insider information for the personal gain or tipping of others. So benefit of the financial managers are providing the information to other people. So it is very important for them. So Next is corporate governance. So another important ethical issues that we are seeing is corporate governance, establishing strong governance structure. So every organization has to follow a structure. Structure is nothing but the hierarchy. So that hierarchy, why it is maintained in the organization. Suppose in your college you have a principal. Under that principal you have your teachers. Under teachers, so in your college you will be having administrative officer. After administrative officer you'll be having principal. Under principal you'll be having your HODs, and after that you'll be having teacher. Last is students. So whatever the issues that you have, you cannot directly go to the administrative officer first. That has to be solved by a teacher, then it has to be solved by the HODs, then it has to be solved by the principal. So it has to follow an hierarchy, it has to follow the communication pattern. So why all this is there? Because each and every employees in an organization should get a equal opportunity, equal authority, equal in role and responsibility in their work, to divide the work in an organization so that the rules and regulation is followed properly. The top level will set up the vision, mission and objective for the entire organization, and that has to be implemented by the managers and has to be followed by the employees, and employees will work there efficiently and effectively for the betterment of the organization. Then later the organizational goals will be achieved. So this is why hierarchy is maintained, a structure is maintained. So whatever policies they formulate, whatever the objectives they formulate, that has to be properly allocated. The roles and responsibility has to be properly divided among the employees and has to be done in a better way. For that purpose, organization structure is very essential. So corporate governance structure, including independent boards, audit committees, helps ensures ethical decision making and taking up the decision. So whatever decisions that has to be taken, committees will be formed. So that committees has to take up the proper decision. Moving forward, regulatory compliance. So compliances with financial regulatory and standards is essential for ethical financial management. So while designing the rules and regulation itself, it has to be put in such a manner that the organizational achievement or objectives can be achieved in a proper way. So you are regulating the rules and regulations, there should be essential ethical rules and regulations, and that is put in the organization regulatory framework. Moving forward, violating financial laws can lead to legal penalties and damage organizational reputation. So if you violate the rules and regulations that has been set, so it leads to what? The financial laws violation. At the same time, it leads to legal penalties. So when you have a damage, that it will spoil the company's goodwill. Moving forward, market manipulation. So recently we are seeing this word, market manipulation. So what is this market manipulation? So it is artificially inflating or deflating the price of security. So what they do, just to gain more money from the share, what they do, they will artificially inflate the or deflate the security prices by using various schemes. So we have pump and dump schemes, or spreading false information, or unethical, which is very unethical and illegal. So what is this pump and dump? So the word itself says, so what the person does is, he will inflate the price of a share, so that with the help of wrong information, spreading the false information, so he will inflate the price and then dump those securities, then sell off those securities at a higher price. So this is pump and dump scheme. So what is this? Market manipulation, manipulating. So what you manipulate? You manipulate the people by spreading wrong information which is not available. So with this, they spread the wrong information, and with the wrong information they artificially inflate or deflate the prices. What they do, they increase the price. They show that the price of a share has been increased and they spread the wrong information to the people and they dump the securities. They sell off the securities at a higher prices. So this is dump and pump scheme. So by spreading the false information. So this kind of market manipulation is very unethical and it is illegal. The next ethical issues we are seeing in our financial management is risk management. Ethical financial managers should provide accurate risk assessment and avoid hiding or downplaying risk to make investment or financial product appears more attractive than they are. So what the managers will do is, so whenever they give the information about the risk assessment, what they do, they should give accurate information. So if they give inappropriate or if they hide the things so in order to make their personal gain, so it will mislead the company. So risk assessment, risk management information should be shown in a proper way when they are asked to do risk assessment. Moving forward, we have social responsibility issue. Financial managers should consider the social and environmental impact on their decision. As I have told you in the initial slide in this class itself, when we are taking up the decision, it is very important to take up the decision while keeping the interest of everybody. So it is not only that employees, shareholders, everybody. So we need to concentrate on our society and the environment as well. So the social responsibility is very important. So practicing ethical finance may involve responsible investing, supporting sustainable practice and avoid investment in industry with negative social and environmental consequences. So negative environmental consequences, it avoids everything when you provide the right information to the society. When you are giving proper information to the society will invest in your company. So in turn, it will benefit the society. So whatever we take from the society, it is our responsibility to give it back. So considering the environment, considering the social obligations we have, the firm has to take up the decision. So this is another ethical issues that we can see in our financial management. The next is few of the other issues that we can see is blowing, ethical decision making framework, continuing education and ethics training, reputation and trust. So just for the reputation and trust, the firm should not, sometimes what they do is they window dress the financial statement to showcase that the company is performing well in order to build up the reputation and trust. So that is very unethical and illegal. So these are the few important ethical issues that we can see in our financial management, and it was very important for your examination. Moving forward, in today's class, we have two theories, agency theory as well as transaction cost theory. So in today's class, we'll be discussing agency relationship theory. So the word itself says relationship theory. So it explains the relationship between the agent and principal. So let us see what is it. The agency relationship is a fundamental concept in corporate governance and economics. So in order to make you all understand what is ethics is all about, what is governance is all about, your University of Mysore have put you a syllabus, have framed a syllabus itself, that is your subject called corporate governance and ethical issues. So from that, a part of the syllabus have put in your financial management in order to make sure that you study what are the ethical issues that you can see in your financial management. So one of them are agency relationship theory. So what it states? So it explains the relationship which occurs when one party, the principal, delegates the decision making authority to another party, that is agent. So two parties are your agent and principal. So agent on behalf of principal, he'll take up the decision. So to act on behalf, common examples include shareholders. As a principal, he delegates the authority to the managers, that is agent in a corporation, to take up the decision on behalf of his client to buy and sell the securities. Moving forward, so what are the ethical issues that we can see in this agency relationship theory? So what is agency relationship theory? It explains the relationship between agent and the principal. So for example, principal will be the shareholder, agent will be the manager. To manage the fund and to take up a better decision regarding the buying and selling of securities, he delegates his authority that to the agent so that he can take up the better work in his life. So this theory states that the agent should not take up the unethical activity for his personal benefit. Moving forward, so key ethical issues that we can see in this. First one is conflict of interest. Agent may prioritize their own interest over those of principal. So agent takes up his own decision without taking any guidance or suggestion or neglecting the voice of your principal. So then conflict arises. So ethical concern arises when agent engage in his action that benefits themselves at the expenses of the principal. So that is the first issue that we can see in agency relationship theory. Moving forward, the second is moral hazards. Agents may take excessive risk or engage in unethical behavior when they know the principal cannot fully monitor their actions. When the actions of an agent is not fully being monitored by a principal, so he might take unethical decisions. So ethical governance practice must address the moral hazard concern. The third ethical issues that we can see is information asymmetry. When agent possess more information than principal, they can exploit this knowledge gap. So what they do, when agent know more information about the share price, about the market, about the securities, whatever the gap that the principal knowledge as well as the agent knowledge is there, he might exploit that. He might take up the advantage of that and mislead the principal. Next is executive compensation. The structure of executive compensation package can incentive agent to maximize their own earnings rather than shareholders' value. Ethical governance involve aligning compensation with long-term shareholders' interest. So what they have to do, executive compensation. Compensation means salary. When the salary increases, what happens? The package, it might be the incentive for the agent, so they maximize their earnings rather than concentrating on the principal's earning. So this is the agency relationship theory and the key ethical issues in this theory that they have to note down. So in today's class, we have discussed about what is ethics is all about, what is governance is all about, what are the fundamental ethical principles that the organization should follow in order to maintain proper ethical code of conduct in the firm. So we have also discussed what are the ethical issues that is there in our financial management, and we have discussed one theory, that is agency relationship theory. What is this relationship theory, what it explains, and what are the ethical issues that has to be addressed in this theory. So we have discussed all those things. So in the next class, we'll be learning more about this ethics and governance issue. So thank you so much for joining today's class. Until that, stay fit, stay healthy. Smile is the biggest jewel you can wear, people. Keep smiling. Thank you.